Vera and I spoke last year on Zoom and had a really great connection. I'm so glad to be able to interview you this time. All right, let me share about Veera. And is your last name Korjala? Am I saying it right?
Perfect. You are a true Finn. He's from Finland, yeah.
From Finland. Okay. Veera is a somatic wellness coach, movement therapist, international retreat leader, and founder of Veera Wellness. Veera empowers women to move beyond overwhelm, fear, and playing small so they can embody their fullest expression. Blending somatic practices, internal family systems, IFS, yoga, bodywork, and energy healing, she guides women back to their innate body wisdom, helping them release limitations, cultivate inner confidence, and reconnect with their authentic voice. Veera creates spaces where women feel safe to express, expand, and align with their true essence. As an international retreat leader, she facilitates, I'm just wanting to scroll and the computer's doing something ridiculous. As an international retreat leader, she facilitates transformative journeys of healing, liberation, and embodied self-expression. Welcome, Veera. So glad to have you here with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Very excited to dive into our conversation today.
Yeah, so good. And not everybody who's here today is a woman, and I'm assuming that your work is relevant to all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yes, sorry, okay, maybe this will work. Will this work? Am I able to scroll? Okay. So the promise, the theme of the interview is disappearing fear and overwhelm, because that's one of the promises of this series is, right? It's meet this moment, disappear fear and overwhelm, and make the difference you want for yourself and the world. So a lot of us are facing fear and overwhelm, and some of us are getting stuck. So can you share an experience of when you felt stuck in fear and overwhelm and how you found the courage to move through it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I welcome everybody into the space because fear is such a normal emotion for all of us. And yeah, it's important that we are facing it. We are understanding what is the fears that we are going through. My fears, I'm from Finland. I have lived in Scotland, in US, and currently I live in Costa Rica. And there's a lot of, especially the fear of the unknown, which is very much on the topics right now where the world is at. So it's important that we are understanding that it's a normal emotion and we just need to learn to be with it better. And yeah, to give a little bit of background, I feel like there has been a lot of things that have happened in my childhood, especially like through the somatic healing. I have been able to understand like why I'm the way I am, and especially related to relationships. And I used to be someone who would not talk about or admit about any kind of fear. I would not even know how to label that I'm feeling fear. So this is like the baseline where I'm coming from. So you can only imagine um, how that was when it was in intimate relationship. I actually was having a lot of difficulties to express my own needs or my own fears, and I would always freeze. So I work a lot with nervous system. It's important that everybody understands we have these different automatic responses or reactions with our coping mechanisms. Um, so my big thing, especially in around fear, was like fear of being left alone. That was like underlying. So I wouldn't know how to express because that was such a big, deep fear of mine. Of like I didn't want to risk that. So I would actually freeze. And it wasn't until I was in a safe relationship where the other person was actually holding the space for like, it's okay, like whatever is coming out of your mouth, we can be with that. But I have a history of my mom and dad divorcing when I was 11 years old. And that has created like such a depth of trauma around expression and what was demonstrated and how everything was unfolding. And all of my siblings, my family members have a different experience, and everybody, like all of us, we have different experiences, even though that would be the same fact that was happening. All of us,
Mm,
we relate to it differently. So it's important that we understand why are we relating the way that we are relating and how it's showing up still in our lives. So yeah, my big fear was being left alone because that was also what was I witnessed that happening, and I would do everything in my power of not going there. So yeah, I am underneath that would be probably like the fear of being lonely and not fully other people seeing and understanding the depth of what I'm emotionally going through.
mm,
But yeah, that can get a little bit deeper. So let me keep it on that area. But just know that there is layers into fear, and underneath, it's important that we understand the patterns that we are, especially in relation to your own health, in relationships, in money, in how you see the world right now. How are you relating to the world based on what you know and what has been externally you have taken in. So
mm.
yeah.
So I have a question, and it also makes me think of something like, okay, so what the way that I view the world, right, is what are my fears? Well, like I have a fear of being seen as bad, so I need to prove that I'm the good one. So that has me feeling like I need to do everything and I need to solve everything, and I certainly can't be criticized or disagreed with. Um, so all probably related to um, having a brother who bullied me and got in trouble for it, and the only way that I could keep the adults and older children on my side was to be the victim, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Thank you for sharing it. Even you just sharing it out loud. There's always when we express it out loud, and every time we label actually the emotion, people can immediately, almost like internally, the guards go down because we can relate to each other. We all have the same emotion. It's not that somebody doesn't have that. Somebody has it repressed or suppressed. However, we can always relate. And the more we have this kind of a conversation, I feel like that is the impact we can have in the world. Like there's more connection, there's more relatability, there's more oneness when we can have these kind of conversations and fully being heard by each other, because especially like what externally is happening, like these wars and how it's very duality mentality, um, until we both parties are fully heard and seen, this keeps on continuing.
Mm,
It's just a fact. So what we can do is to like, because it can feel so overwhelming, like I'm doing everything in my power, but then look at what this world is, and kind of like giving up mentality. It's like there's no point. There is a point. There is absolutely so much healing you can do when you attend to yourself, because that ripple effect to your family members, to your loved ones, it's time is illusional. So it's not like you heal one thing and then everything is great. No, no, no. We are cyclic beings. So it's that keeps on coming over and over again. But it's a matter of you tuning in what's happening in your life and how you can face and be with, like I said before, like how can we be with the fear? How can we be with the overwhelm? Because many times, especially coming from a background of internal family systems and somatic parts work, like we can feel like we are completely fearful, like the fear has taken over and there's no light, there's no spark of light, or now like almost like we have lost ourselves into this kind of energy. or fully like the whole life is overwhelmed and we're just drowning in it. And that's not the case. We all have that prana, that chi, that self energy, that's the God kind of energy inside of us. It's a matter of you are being blended with that part. So we need to start talking that a part of me feels fearful. A part of me feels very overwhelmed right now. It's not all of you. But I understand, like, when we are in it and when we're stuck, it feels like the whole world, all of our world is like that.
Mm, very, very powerful. And I think you may have hinted about this, but how did you resolve your fear of abandonment? Did you bring these
Mm,
tools to yourself? And where
yeah,
is that
yeah.
now?
I was very intensively or intensively like coached by this, and while at the same time being in a relationship and being able, we get wounded in relationships, we also heal in relationships. So know that whatever kind of fear you are having might comes from some, like a caregiver or somebody in your school, or some, challenge, traumatic challenge that you went through. But yeah, what did you ask? Sorry, I'm starting to ramble into something
Oh,
else.
no, you,
You
you
asked.
you gave some theory. And how did you personally heal yourself from your fear
Hmm,
of abandonment
yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's an ongoing thing. I don't know it, like it,
patterns?
yeah, it's just the patterns and becoming aware of them. Awareness is always the number one thing for change. If you want to change something in your life, you have to become aware of it, first of all, foremost. And then many people take in information a lot, but they don't know how to implement it. And I think that's one of the biggest things you can, what you can do, not only for yourself, but for your own, for this world, is that to implement it, integrate it, and heal it in the everyday life situations, taking small steps. And especially with fear and overwhelm, it's so important that you stay present. So many people are, I work with a lot of people who have a lot of anxiety. So they are so much in the worries, they get lost into the worries. Um, so it's like a daily practice. It's a daily attunement every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, um, just to get back into yourself. And yeah, it's like the fear of abandonment is huge, like it, and obviously that's something that is dear to um, my own heart. So I'm really aware of when that part is starting to activate. I understand bodily responses, what are happening, what are the thought patterns before that, and then just recognizing, being able to shift the gear instead of going into the old pattern.
Mm. Okay, so it starts with awareness. You notice it, you separate from it, and then you choose another way.
Yeah, yeah. And a big thing around it is naming. Obviously there's a different process around it, but awareness and naming it. Oh, I'm having, even just like, oh, I'm noticing that my breath is getting shallow. Oh, I'm noticing my chest is really deeply compressed right now. I'm noticing there's nut in my belly. I'm noticing my lower back is like holding on to things. So being able to name it and being able to name, like, yeah, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling extremely fearful, like almost like my hands are shaking. So yeah, from
Mm.
there we can take it forward.
So yeah, just the power of even noticing. Um,
Mhm.
so one of your other questions, when for people here and people on the replay who feel like they're playing small because of fear and overwhelm, what are the first steps or practices you'd recommend to begin embodying confidence and their true voice? Because I think that can come up for a lot of us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my first question is, like, how are you centering yourself? You feel like in your center? And
Mm.
do you understand what is center and when you are out of center? That's the first awareness. But yeah, um, I used to be very much into like mindfulness and meditation. They are huge. Don't get me wrong. Huge, huge tools. I'm also trauma informed. So I understand now that that can actually be extremely frightening to quiet down if you don't know how to be with what's happening.
Quiet.
So the big thing is that you are centering yourself, understanding, and that's where the awareness starts to come from. And also, a big thing, especially in the somatic world, we want to always resource ourselves. Safety is the number one underlying thing for anything, to be with ourselves, to so finding peace, joy, safety, even just in your, surroundings. Like I'm right now in Costa Rica, I see multiple different green colors right outside here. Like that feels very soothing for me. It's just like this environment. So environment uh, like can contribute into the internal experience, and then starting to recognize like to build up the resource inside of you. Where do you notice the safety? Is it in the temperature? Do you feel a weight, certain direction? Are you all the way fully supported? Even as you watching it right now, like where are you in your seat? Do you notice that you're on the edge, or can you go all the way to the back of it? Can you lean into the support? Support is many times creates safety for us. So the small things like that, and breathing is um, the most underlined or underestimated, I guess, underestimated tool that you can use. So many people are breathing from the chest, like to start drawing it into your belly. Start to become comfortable being with the uncomfortability of getting to know yourself. I know
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
necessarily fun, but that's where support comes in and a safe container to do that.
Mm. Yeah. And so then once people have achieved an experience of safety, this is assuming that people are currently safe, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
right. The situation where people are factually safe, but feel unsafe, as opposed to
Yeah.
situations where people are actually unsafe, which is different. Um, Once they've achieved that experience of safety, what's the next step for playing big and
Mm.
really, yeah, really taking on, embodying, expressing your purpose, your creativity, the difference you want to make for yourself and the world. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
we've settled
I love that.
something. Now, what
Mhm.
takes us into action?
Yeah. It's the courage. It's the courage for you to listening to your truth and voicing it out there, expressing it out there. So expression, I teach a lot about expression. There is internal expression, like journaling, uh, just being, noticing with your own breath. There's external, which is sound, dancing, singing, um, and then voicing it out to the person that you need to, or sending that email that you have been procrastinating around, or you know, uh, I'm thinking of in your case, like you said, that if you're being fully seen, like can I put myself out there in social media or uh, in these big platforms and being okay with that. So this is where we are stretching the capacity to be with. If you have a rubber band, you would just keep expanding that capacity that you can be with. So we are just a little bit outside of the comfort zone, so we can expand. That's how you can impact little by little. It's not about, if you think about people who you admire or you see that they have qualities that you would like to have, um, they just have the capacity to possibly hold it longer periods of time. And they are trained of being in that kind of an energetic space. So that's the work for all of us. And that, like, how can we be fully 10 out of 10 energy? This is where I bring a lot of embodiment practices in my retreats and my coaching. Like, we use a lot of play with this. You know, how are you with, with your family members? Are you fully 10 out of 10 energy? Or are you 5, 6 out of 10? Like, are you fully showing all of you? Then with your workmates, or with your colleagues, like, how are you showing up? It can be different in different social groups or different platforms, but your practice is to get the 10 out of 10 energy each and every day, because there's a difference in the energy when you're coming from that fear state energy and you're putting yourself, expressing yourself out there, compared to when you are in that courageous. In internal family systems, they use a lot of this self energy qualities. One of them is courage.
I
So
was
you
just
are
about to
in
ask about courage. Yeah,
yeah,
tell us about courage. What is the source of courage?
the source of courage is you knowing that you have, it's unsettling, but you are no longer buying into the outside source deciding your validation. So courage is that you are just in your 10 out of 10 energy, no matter what is the feedback, what is the reaction of outside of it. So when we are coming from that place, and that is always connected to truth. And my invitation for everybody who is on this call is, can you trust that your truth is the best for everybody else's truth as well? There's many truths out there in this world, but if we, like, just stayed in our truth and not trying to convince ourselves to other people's truth, what would the world be? Like, it's that simple. Like, we can truly empower from that place of truth. My name actually means truth. So
Mine too.
I'm very thick on this.
Yours in
Yours,
Latin, mine
yeah,
in Greek.
yeah, amazing,
Mm.
amazing. Yeah. So it's like so important that we are in this energy. The courage is comes from that energy of not buying into anymore. It's almost like you're not caring. It's We're living in such a distraction-based universe. So can you, like, connect? And I'm looking, this is the center. So um, can you be grounded in your present and then take actions from there? I many times tell to my somatic clients, like, transformation formula is light plus shadow plus action. Action is the last part of it. So the shadow is that you understand that you might be coming from the fearful state, or these things that are unconscious. We're pulling them to the light so we can be with them. It's not that we are flying away from them anymore or we're fighting against. So, and then holding the torch for light, like, who are you being in this world? And what is the impact you want to leave? And the action is the last part of it. So you want to be having the vision of what you are, how you are wanting to impact in the world, and then get out of your own way by lifting the things from the shadow. That always involves grieving process. And that's why it's so important to have support around, have a safe space, um, because many times those things are coming from times when we were left alone, or we didn't have the full support to go through those challenging things. They wouldn't be in the shadow anymore, because truly feelings are meant to be fully felt. And then it's not like poof, like they are no longer repressed in your
Integrated.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
integrated rather than hijacking, which I suppose is a mixed metaphor, but it feels like the best one. Um, yeah, okay. So this made me think of a couple things. Earlier today, I was talking about being unshakable in your moral clarity. So
Mm,
that's what what
yeah.
is your absolute stand? Your clear yes.
Yes,
And that
exactly.
in your yes that is so strong that it also is a no when it needs to be. Like,
Hmm.
no, we are not doing that. No.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's so important that we say no, because when we say no and that's truthful for us, then we are not having an energy leak. And we can actually have this full wholeness in our capacity, in the clarity, in the courageous energy, in the calmness, confidence. There's 8 C's that Dr. Swartz talked about in internal family systems. That is the self energy. So courage and clarity are two of them. So like really like no more energy leaks. So saying no to something is actually a yes to something that is way more meaningful.
yeah, yeah. And um, I'm going to talk about Barbie in a second. Um, and before that, it's when you're so clear on your yes and your no, and you are filled with that energy of this is my ground, I am self sourced, I am not anything else. You can hit me with anything, it will bounce off. Courage, courage is its own thing. Courage isn't overcoming fear. Courage takes on a life of its own.
Hmm. Yeah, beautiful stated.
Yeah. And then Barbie. So what you were saying about light plus shadow equals action. I don't know if you saw the Barbie movie.
Light plus shadow plus action is transformation. Sorry.
Oh, light plus shadow plus action is transformation, even better. So the very first thing I wrote on Substack was a review of the Barbie movie. Um, and if anybody has seen it, we were playing one of the songs from it today. It's probably why it's on my mind. She starts off
Again.
all light, only light, and she goes really into the uh, dark night of the soul, right? She has upset about this and upset about that and suffering and whining and all the other things. And then at a certain point, it's all integrated, right? And she takes action, right? She takes action to save the Barbies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's all integrated and she's whole. And she's so whole that she turns from plastic to flesh.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. Yes. That's kind of like the heroine's journey, or hero's journey. Any movie is based on that. We all are based on that. Same, you know, we are in this comfort zone of, you know, things are going beautifully and then shit hits the fan, excuse my language. And then we are going into the depths. And then as we have it integrated, then we take it back into our community. So then with basically the integrated version. But think about lotus flower. I use a lot of metaphoric things in my somatic yoga practices. So lotus flower. Lotus grows from the mud. Nobody sees that. Same thing with the butterflies. You know, nobody talks about the uncomfortability of the cocoon phase. You are all the way small. You are moving through life, and then you're just trying to figure things out. And then, boom, and then people see the beauty. So many times butterflies don't see their own beauty, you know, they
They
don't
just see
have.
the flowers.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So may you like also remind that for yourself, like the self-realization journey is it's not linear journey by any means. It's extremely messy, And some people are in for it and there for you, and some people are like not in for it. People can only go as far as they have gone themselves. So it's important that we are surrounding ourselves in those kind of challenging moments with other people who understand or who have been there or understand the emotional load and just are able to, we are able to navigate into the new level, which is one of my mentors said, like, this is the life school. Like, once you get the lesson, you move into the next um, next classroom. But you always have to go through these final tests, and the universe is really testing you. Did you get it? You thought that you got it. Okay, let's
Let's see.
throw
Let's
this
see. Did you really
curveball.
get it?
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's, I mean, what you're saying about surrounding ourselves with people who can handle us growing. That's why you
yeah,
and I run group programs, right? Because
yeah,
everybody's growing together and we're pulling you along to the parts that we've achieved. So
yeah,
we're both so far from perfect.
yeah.
So Veera, share
It's
with,
so important.
oh, go ahead.
And can I share around it? It's so important that we also see like the messiness in other people. So it's like nobody got it right, like on the first go, like no way. And then just like being okay, being fully lost at times. Like this is a human experience, and can we be fully in that human experience and not just trying to
Okay.
like pack it, yeah, pack it
Yeah.
in a way that, hey, that this is, or can we have more of these kind of conversations? And my encouragement is for everybody to invite more of these kind of conversations. Not necessarily easy, but that's where the work is for you to do it on your own so you can fully be in the Olympics of life, like one of my mentors said. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Our
and the
strongest
Olympics are four times the no, every 4 years. So
every 4 years.
so you have to practice a lot in order to
And and
somehow make it to the top eight.
and right now we need to be running really hard, right? Running really
Yeah,
hard, lifting a lot of weight,
yeah,
bringing our teams along with us.
yeah,
Yeah. So just bringing the last thing you said about messiness back to Barbie and the butterfly, right? If we try to smooth out all our edges or we expect someone else to smooth out all their edges, the only way that that's possible is if we're literally plastic, right?
yeah, yeah,
And then the butterfly, for heaven's sake, is literally liquid goo
yeah.
on the way on the way to becoming. Um, yeah. So let yourselves and even let the people around you be messy, have rough edges, scratch up against us.
Yeah.
And there's so much power on the other side. Amazing, 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 Veera. Veera, tell everyone about your free gift.
Yes, it's about anxiety and how to um, overcome anxiety and get more tools. So anything related to fear, overwhelm, it's a great resource in general. It will talk also about nervous system. It talks about polyvagal theory. So having a little bit of understanding more like what's happening inside of you physiologically. 80% of our information in the body goes through the nervous system. So, body-based approach is extremely useful at this stage and age. Only
Hold on,
20%.
hold on, hold on. There's information in our body that's not in our nervous system.
That it's in, no, 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 it's in the nervous system.
I mean, isn't all information in our nervous system?
Yes, but it goes, 80% goes up, 20% comes from the brain down.
Oh, okay.
So,
So our non-central, the other parts of our nervous
yes,
system. Okay.
exactly.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying. That can be confusing and overwhelming for people. So we are trying to here to clarify things. But yeah, it's a powerful resource to understand and have also practices. I literally give their practices. how you can start moving forward to more into like alignment space.
Mm. And like you said, uh, metabolizing the fear is the first phase, right? You got to integrate that shadow with that light before you can take action, and then you can
Yeah,
transform.
yeah. Many people want that, like, give me the action, give me the action. Well, there's a lot of things that go before that in order for you to actually create the transformation.
Yeah.
And it's a process. It's not like, so give yourself some grace, give yourself time and space. And this is not, a sprint. This is like marathon. Somatic healing is a marathon, getting in connection to our fear, like I'm a living proof of that. I didn't even know how to label that I'm overwhelmed or I'm fearful.
Mm.
And just 6 years later, like I'm able to be here. And also like that is my main work as well with people. So like just know that there's possibility no matter what kind of background. There was no emotions talked about. Everything was pulled underneath the rug in my experience in the past where I'm coming from. So let alone my own family, but the cultural way, the Finnish
I
culture.
was wondering in the Scandinavian, I mean, even though Finland is not Germanic linguistically, there's some Germanic cultural influences. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's the Baltic, they call it the Baltic countries.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Finland is part of that. But yeah, Sweden, Norway, Denmark. Yeah, all of that very reserved energy. So, that it's multi-layered. We're complex beings, we are shaped by different experiences, shaped by different, our family lineage, also our environment, our culture. So plus you are a unique blueprint. So yeah, get to know that. Get to know the language of the body, because wisdom, body wisdom is like information plus experience. That's wisdom. So
Mm.
you have a lot of data points, experiences from your body already. Think about how many years you have been on this planet. So there's a lot of wisdom there. We just need to get to know them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quiet down some of the really loud voices that are drowning out our quiet, wise voices. Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. All right, we have a couple minutes. If anybody wants to ask Vera a question, or Vera, if you have a discussion question for people to think about. Oh, James, go ahead, James. Would you like to come off mute?
Yeah, I would. Thank you.
Julio, can you? Oh, you did. Okay, great.
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Vera, and thank you, Alice, for having Vera here with us. As being for role modeling or modeling for us the 10 out of 10 energy. It really comes across the airways beautifully. And I'm wondering, when you talk about going into the shadow, I wonder how you orchestrated it so that you, during our time together here, during your presentation, how you managed it so that the light changed to shadow. I'm talking about the physical lighting coming through the windows, and and now
Oh,
it's
wow.
on. So
Yeah.
and that's just kind of silliness, but it was powerful nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank
So
you for sharing. And it's truthful. Yeah. That the light was coming first and now it's all in the shadow. And can we be with the shadow? Can we be with all of ourselves? And what, Alice? What did you
Yeah, no,
say?
I went through a transformation during the course of the conversation. We had a couple pre-recorded interviews, and it's the time of day I usually take my nap. I was getting pretty blah, right? And I was like sort of trying to force myself to bring power to the conversation. And then when you talked about like when you source your courage from it's you and it's what you believe in and it's what you care about and nothing can hit you. And I remembered my Unshakable workshop. I was like, oh, I don't need the sun to be a certain height in the sky for me to be powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it yeah. So James kind of talking about an arc of the workshop, there was an arc of the workshop, not the workshop, but the conversation. There was an arc of the conversation for me too.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. And I think there's many different arcs, in our conversation, there's art in the whole summit, in the whole Impactful You show, there's art, will get inspired and you feel that connection to that self energy and clarity and courage, like, yes, I'm gonna do this. Like, I notice like what I care about and that resonates with me. And then you recognize like, yeah, I actually have it. And you can just like notice your own body as a language. So when you're going down or like feel like, oh, I just want to exit out from this conversation, like whatever it may be. So that is the work. That's your body is telling you that. And then, after this summit, the actions you're taking. And if you have one action that you can take that you got from this conversation or one insight, uh, that is the gift of this, like, can we trust that everything that we are getting involved in always have some kind of mirroring for ourselves, even the light, the Costa Rican, the nature is here with us all the time. They are communicating. Yeah.
It's gone from light to shadow where I am too, but you can't see it because you just see the lamp.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's actually, thank you for bringing up the arc of the summit, because I can talk about that. So today, at least I taught about sort of the overview of grounding your resistance. And we had a lot of conversations about, dialogue. We had a lot of conversations about grounding yourself and the somatics of your body. Tomorrow, I'm going to be teaching about the shadow. In the morning, I'll be teaching about the shadow, right? Like how the process, my trainer Marina taught me this group empathy process of how do we be with the feelings that come up with the tough things in the world.